Hey guys, it's Matt here, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Matt Rants. So this episode of Matt Rants is actually based off of something that I saw on RGT85's channel. I'll link his video in the description box down below, but as much as I like his work, I thought that he didn't go as in-depth with this topic as I would like. So I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about this, bring this to your attention, because this is an actual thing. Make a lot of jokes here on those guys' play on the channel in general, especially on Matt Rants as well, but this is an actual thing. This is legit. So apparently Just Dance is coming out in 2018 on the Nintendo Wii. It's Just Dance 2019, and not the Nintendo Wii U, the actual Nintendo Wii. I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, what? And you're probably clacking at your keyboards right now. You're looking this up. This is real. This is real. This is not a joke. There's no punchline unless you think that's funny, in which case you can laugh, but it's technically not a punchline to a joke. It's the fact of the matter. So my question, because a lot of our Matt Rants usually bring up certain kind of questions and things like that, so my question of the day, or of the episode rather, might be one of the Matt Rants coming out later on today. The question is, how are Wii games still selling? Now, I didn't put a specific date. I know that, we're recording this in 2018, late 2018, but I think I just want to put this out there in general. Nothing against the Wii. It's just that, this will also be relevant in the year 2020, 2025, 2030, if we have Just Dance till the day that we all die. And I say the day that we all die in the sense that, once the sun explodes, it'll be Just Dance, sun exploding. So we are going to look at, we're going to look at a bunch of things today. We're going to talk about when the Wii was technically discontinued, what games came out after the Wii was discontinued, and even though the list still dwindles, we're going to talk about if any of those games are actually on any best-selling lists, because I'm sure the first thing that you guys are thinking of, just like I am, is, again, the question of the day: how are Wii games still selling? Also, something else I would like to note as well, I do understand that some of these games, even though the Wii was technically discontinued when it was discontinued, I do understand that some of these games were definitely in, in production and development when the Wii was announced as discontinued. So yes, I understand that some of them are definitely going to be, some of those kind of remnants, things like that. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing also that some of these games came out on Nintendo Wii. It's just the fact that at this point, we're going into 2019 and there's still Nintendo Wii games coming out, and they're not even like cool homebrew games. Nothing against the Just Dance series, I guess, but they're not like cool homebrew games like Super Nintendo games and Nintendo games and things like that, or NES games rather. No, or even ColecoVision games. Frankly, it's insane how many awesome homebrew, homemade games are coming out for different consoles. But that's not the case, and I'm sure there's a really fun there's a very active Wii homebrew community. I'm sure that that's out there. I know that there once the Wii was modded, there were a bunch of people releasing cool applications and emulators and things like that on the Wii, but just the fact that we have official games coming out, it's crazy to me. But anyway, let's talk about the actual numbers here. Or rather the dates here and things like that. Let's get away from my opinion at this point. So the Wii was technically discontinued in Japan on October 20th, 2013. Might seem like a while, but of course we all know that, when it comes to Nintendo, especially with the way they really prolong their consoles in Japan, might seem like certain peripherals and other things like, it might feel like things in the US, at least, for not just Nintendo, but even in general, I would say for other, for other companies with their consoles, it might seem like, that such and such died, or, such and such is out of print, or et cetera, but in Japan, we'll see, different services for not just the Wii, but even the Nintendo 64 DD, go on for much longer than we would have ever even thought. Technically, the Wii Mini was discontinued on October 20th, 2013. So we have to keep that in mind. And now let's talk about some of the games that were released after that. Okay, so we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we have SpongeBob SquarePants Robotics Revenge, we have Just Dance Kids 2014. Just Dance, if you guys don't remember, is so popular that apparently it spanned other Just Dances. That's just how everyone's... tell me, by the way, down below, if you've ever bought a Just Dance. I want to know, even though it's anecdotal evidence, I still want to know how many people have Just Dance or had Just Dance, even any other variations in their collection. collection. So, last one I had was Just Dance Kids 2014. Also, we have Monster High 13 Wishes. We have Angry Birds Star Wars. I'm sure our very own Tristan Walter, who loves Star Wars and is not really interested in Angry Birds, will love to hear about that. I'll definitely get in contact with him and just tell him, hey, guess what? Haha. Anyway, so we also have Ben 10 Omniverse 2, Zumba Fitness World Party, Skylanders Swap Force. I don't know if this was the first Skylanders. I believe it was. So that's kind of why they wanted to put it out there. If not, then it would have made sense to put the second one out there because I'm sure they had the template for the first one already set up on the Wii. Same thing with some of these Just Dances, but we'll get to those a little bit later and we'll see how far they go down. Also, we have Zumba Kids because okay. Now we're moving on to the 2014. So again, you know, the Just Dances, you know how far those goes, but let's see how some of these other ones, when they stop going. So 2014, we have Barbie Dreamhouse Party. We have How to Train Your Dragon 2. Wow, okay. We have FIFA 15. We have Skylanders Trap Team. We have The Voice I Want You, which I know what it's trying to say because I know what The Voice is, but that's just a wee bit creepy. Just like a little bit creepy. Just Dance 2015. Disney Planes Fire and Rescue. Truly a hidden gem. I've never freaking played it, but tell me if you like it. And Penguins of Madagascar. Actually thought that was a somewhat funny show. Not sure about the game. I feel like I've heard terrible things about the game. I don't know. Now we're moving on to the 2015. We have Skylanders Supercharger. So clearly, Skylanders isn't just doing well in general. Of course, I know that Skylanders blew up just because I never played it. I do know that it blew up, but especially with like the little youngins, the little youths. But the thing is that apparently, even in 2015, it came out. Skylanders Superchargers, I assume potentially that was like an expansion as well, but that came out for the Nintendo Wii. We also have Just Dance 2016. We have Just Dance Disney Party 2. So let's recognize this. Nearly 2 years after the Nintendo Wii was discontinued, Just Dance was not only apparently popular enough to get released in 2016, but then there was also a Disney Party 2 variant. Disney Party 1 came out at one point, and they were like, you know what? Now it's time for 2. Rodea the Sky Soldier, which I don't know much about. I feel like I've heard good things about that. And I think that one actually sticks out when looking at all these other games on this list, because we also have Let's Sing 2016, and we have Barbie and Her Sisters Puppy Rescue. So looking at all these games in 2015, it's like, again, Rodea the Sky Soldier really stands out, but the rest of them just seem like shells with new updates getting released with new songs and things like that. When I say shell, I mean the idea that also looking at things like WWE games, which is I love them, or other sports games. I'm not really a big fan of other sports games, but you know, a lot of people that come on the channel are, so I'm not like, you know, gonna put them down or anything like that. But the point is that, you know, with roster updates and things like that, or just song updates or whatever it might be, you could have had, if Samba de Amigo did so well, I don't know if it did well or not. I know that it was a lot of fun. We've played it on the channel before, but if Samba de Amigo did so well that, you know, it could have gotten like yearly releases. We could have had like Despacito with Samba de Amigo. But anyway, let's move on to 2016, and this is where the Nintendo Wii games grind to a halt from the list that I have, which, by the way, the lists, as well as RGT85's video that I mentioned before, will be in the comment section down below. So in 2016, all we have listed here is Just Dance 2017. Then in 2017, we have Just Dance 2018, and then again, like I mentioned earlier, 2018, we have coming out Just Dance 2019. So I think the question is, how freaking well did Just Dance have to sell to justify this opinion? But here's the weird thing, though. I looked at a few different lists, and again, they'll be linked down below in the description box. I looked at a few different lists, and while Just Dance is on them, it is so far back that I'm just so confused. Like, I'm kind of sitting back and I'm like, how many dev discs for the Wii does Ubisoft just have lying around? Or are they looking at this and thinking, you know what? It's just a different shell. Who cares? If people are going to buy it, people are going to buy it. And we'll just put them out there. It doesn't matter. I don't know, maybe it's a tax write-off. All I'll say is this much. If you are trying to buy Wii dev discs online, like development discs, I don't think they're blue discs like the GameCube one. I'm pretty sure they're like white, maybe a little bit bluish. But either way, if you're trying to bid on them and you see someone else bidding on them, there's a very high chance that that person is Ubisoft. So anyway, but let's talk about the best-selling Wii games. I'm not going to give you the whole rundown because, again, other ones that are, obviously really popular, like Super Mario Galaxy, things like that, they don't really have any relevance here. So talking about Just Dance 1 and 2, Just Dance 1 sold 4.3 million. So that was at number 20 out of like a top, I think it was top selling games in general. I think it went to like 50 or so. So it was at number 20 with a bunch of games, of course, first party Nintendo games going above it. And then only 2 spots higher, selling not 4.3 million this time, selling 5 million is Just Dance 2. And so that's at number 18. So I'm sitting here and I'm just looking at Just Dance 2, right, which was released, I should mention, in 2010. Right, so that's released in 2010, a few years before the official demise of the Wii from Nintendo, and it sells 5 million, which is great, especially with how cheap it might be to make that game. Yes, of course, there's money in licensing, licensing the music and everything like that, especially if they're using really, popular music. Although, funnily enough, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure songs like that, even like Guitar Hero, actually uses covers of famous songs. So they do have to pay the rights for them, but they pay for covers, so then those are actually cheaper to actually straight up produce a brand new cover and license the rights to the song rather than trying to license a song from like Michael Jackson or like Aerosmith or something like that. So that also could be why it's also relatively cheap. But in general, it's like they sell 5 million copies in 2010, Just Dance 2, remember, and it's at number 18 out of top selling games, Wii games of all time. And then in 2009, Just Dance 1 sold 4.3 million. And now it's at, and it's at number 20. So I'm just so confused because I understand how cheap it is to make these. Again, if you have the discs lying around, if it's just a shell with, different replacements, if the dance moves are even exactly the same one-to-one, it does in a way make sense. Like, you could put it out, who cares? But the cost, and yes, physical media costs are down. They could literally be paying like 5 cents per, not just per disc, but per disc as well as per box art as well, especially if they're not putting a manual in there or anything like that, because it's like, you dance, genius. Then there's a good chance that they're actually spending very, very little to produce as many as they produce for these games. But it's just so, I don't know, to me it just seems so cray. And to just release this game only because of the fact that, here's the thing, right? It's the fact that the Wii U didn't do well. So you would think, not that the Wii brand is like tainted or anything like that, but like now that we've moved on to the Switch, we're that far into the future now that we've moved on to the Switch that even though it, it does seem like it's not that long ago, it's only been 5 years since it's been officially discontinued. But, I don't even have it here. I'm going to look it up right now. When the Wii officially launched, and it's just like, you think about that. I'm pretty sure it's 10 years, but I'm going to check right now. It's just crazy to think about the fact that it's just, I don't know. I can't wrap my mind around actually doing something like this. And I just checked right now, November 19th, 2006, in North America is when the Nintendo Wii came out. So that's 12 years ago. I mean, it is crazy to think how long ago that is. And here's the thing too, right, guys? I'm not saying that we should abandon the Wii. I'm not saying that, people shouldn't be collecting for the Wii, playing games on the Wii. Like, I love playing games on my Wii. I love playing the Wii. It's just, and frankly, I would buy some homebrew games that get released on the Wii, brand new games, or heck, even if they were to do what I really want to have done with a lot more Super Nintendo games, which is going to, if not Nintendo, other companies and going, hey, this game never came out here. How about we make that happen, right? How about looking at looking at something like the Fatal Frame game. I forgot which one it was. Might have been number 4. Was it 4? Was it 5? I think it might have been 5. Tell me in the comment section down below, guys. But if you guys know, so it was a Fatal Frame game that was released on the Nintendo Wii that just never got brought over. If that could get brought over, just working with, I think it's Koei Tecmo on that, working with them on that, that would be amazing. Right? So in no way am I saying a company shouldn't do that. I think that would be actually really good money, funnily enough. It's just, especially like even some of you guys are like, no, it wouldn't be, that wouldn't work. People can even emulate Wii games on their computers, so they could still buy the legit game and emulate it on their computer, either way. Still though, it's just so, I don't know, just so strange to me that this would happen. I know that Ubisoft still has a working relationship with Nintendo very closely, so I don't know. It's just really strange for them to be like, "Hey guys, so can you fire up those presses if they do need, Nintendo to actually professionally print these games?" Which I don't think they would, but if they do for some reason or another, so that Nintendo, so it doesn't, what's it called, so that they're considered official, right? So that you're not printing, fake games, because you can get any, dev kit you want to or whatever, but I don't know if there has to be certain code involved or something like that to make it, considered official versus like burning your own PlayStation 2 disc or something like that. It's just, I've said over and over, it has to be cheap, it has to be cheap, it has to be cheap. But if there's no return, if there's no profit in it, it doesn't make sense how cheap it is to print. It doesn't make, they could easily only spend, $100K on this. It's like, are they actually getting, maybe they are they getting enough revenue from everything else in the newer Just Dance, I assume it's coming out on the Switch, let's say. So it's like, will there be that many people buying it on the Nintendo Switch? Perhaps there will. Buying it on the Nintendo Switch. That will then be interested, like the money will kind of, eclipse any loss that they have on printing it for the Nintendo Wii. And also I want to know, are there people out there? Are you guys, some of you guys are listening in, or do you know someone, or maybe it is you and you still don't feel comfortable telling us in the comment section down below. Tell us if you actually bought Just Dance post 2013, and there's no pressure, right? I'm actually not trying to put you guys down. I'm not trying to say anything negative. I'm not gonna laugh at you, or at least I know I'm not, and I don't encourage anyone to laugh at you. Like, even though it would be I would kind of give you a little side eye, small one, if you bought it at like full retail price. So like, if I don't know if they're budget titles, or I don't know if they're $30. So if you bought one for like 50, 60 post the Nintendo Wii, being discontinued, then I'd be like, are you sure? But I'm not gonna sit there and say, hey, you shouldn't be buying this. That's up to you, right? But still, though, at the same time, I just don't know who's doing this. Are you, heck, if you are someone trying to go for a complete Nintendo Wii collection, does stuff like this actually not deter you, but does this actually spur you on? Like, oh, I gotta get this because I need to have a full Wii collection. Do you even consider this part of a Wii collection? Because these games are being released, yes, they're being officially released, but they're being released after the Wii has been discontinued. I want to know a lot of you guys, a lot of your thoughts on this, because this just completely perplexes me. Because in no way am I saying that, if a console is discontinued by the company, we should just abandon it. I've said that earlier. I don't believe that. But at the same time, it's Just Dance. It's just, and maybe I've had such a bad experience with Just Dance. I really had a bad experience. Like, I told people that I couldn't play it. I was really bad at it. And then they laughed. Like, oh, come on, you'll do fine. And I was so bad at it that, like, when I was done with the, with not the level, but with the dance through, they weren't laughing. And I was like, oh no. Like, when people stop laughing and are that serious, it's just like, oh, I was that bad. So maybe I've just had such a bad experience with Just Dance that, I'm completely underestimating its reach. But you would think that, they would continue doing so well. They would continue to break through into, best-selling charts after 2010. And that would make you go, oh, okay, that's why they're releasing more of these. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. It's just so strange. Because, like, with a WWE game, and again, I know I'm a WWE fan, so, like, that definitely, is a bias. Don't get me wrong, that is a bias. But with the WWE game, you can also customize rosters, you can customize, so many different things that it just, to keep putting them out on a system even after they've, seemingly it's been discontinued, which does happen with WWE games for a bunch of different consoles. You'll see, when they move on to the new system, they'll still have a few games for, like, a few years come out on the last gen. And I do get that. But this is a little ridiculous. It's been 5 years, and we have more Just Dances. So again, as we're wrapping this up, I want to know, do you have a Just Dance? Are you going to get Just Dance 2019? Do you have 2018, 2017? And also, did you buy any Wii games that were released post Wii's discontinuation? Just any of the games that I listed. Do you actually have any of those games in your collection? Do you enjoy those games? I really want to hear all this because this really does interest me a lot. So thank you all so much. Love you all. Take care, and tune in next time, hopefully a little bit later on today, for another episode of Matt Rants. All right, guys, so take care and see ya.